Welcome to Tales on the Towpath, the podcast where every mile tells a story.
We're two runners who spend a lot of time out here on the C&O Canal Towpath, talking about training, racing, and everything that happens between the miles.
From early morning runs to the stories that keep us moving.
This is where endurance meets inspiration, one step, one tail at a time.
So lace up and join us on the path, because every trail has a story, and this one's ours.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Adam Lowe.
And I'm Chris Earl. Hey, Adam, we finally got our shoes.
Yeah, Chris, we got our shoes from the January Outrun Us Challenge that we got third place in. I know I got a notification from FedEx that they were going to be delivered, and I shared that with you, and you had not gotten a notification. And I know you were wondering a little bit where your shoes were, if they were coming, if their notification was lost, or what was going on with that. But they ended up arriving the same day, so that was pretty cool. They were the ASIC Gel Cumulus 28s, so the brand new version of the Cumulus 28s. Have you worn them yet?
I have not. I am planning to break them out tomorrow night at the pub run.
Yeah, that's my plan as well. I'm gonna be a shoe twin with you tomorrow at the pub run, so I figured we could break them out together and run in them and give them a chance there. I know I had put in a group chat that I'm in with, and I don't know if you're in it or not. Sometimes Instagram, like the groups, like I'm getting too old for this stuff, I think, but I know Isaac is in it and Sam is in it, and they had shared their pictures of their shoes, and you never commented. You're probably not in it. I don't know.
I'm not in it, yeah.
Okay. But so I kind of threw out a challenge to see who could put 400 miles on their shoes first, and they both laughed. So I don't think we're really doing this, but it could get interesting.
Yeah, especially if you wear them this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, now when this comes out, it'll be if I wore them last weekend, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, if they feel good, Thursday at the pub run at Antietam, they'll go in the rotation for the night loop miles, that's for sure. But yeah, I'll try them out, and I don't have any real, what do you call it, loyalty to shoes, especially if I get a free pair in the mail, I'm gonna wear it.
So it's funny. Back in the late '90s and through the early 2000s, I was Asics only. 3 or 4 different models I kind of rotated through, but every pair was Asics, and then I just kind of got away from them after a while and never really went back and tried them out. So I'm really excited to give these a whirl and see if it brings back any memories, or if maybe I gotta work a new brand into my shoe rotation.
Yeah, it'll be good. I did have a pair of Asics maybe last year. I think I got them from Going Gone. So they were on sale, and I wore them until I couldn't wear them anymore. Oh no, I know what it was. I won a free pair through some Strava grit challenge and or run sign up. We did the grit summer grit or something, and I won a random free pair that summer. So I guess Asics, I just like winning them. Maybe I'll have to
Yeah.
throw some money their way soon. But yeah,
Or maybe they should throw some money your way.
that's a better idea. Asics, if you're listening, I'm available. Yeah. So, hey, speaking of the Outrun Us challenge, how's the March challenge going for us? Or for you, I guess.
I'm doing okay. I don't have the luxury of, a walking pad at work or any of those things, so I'm only recording steps on my actual runs, and my mileage in March is a little bit lower than what it was in January, obviously, and even February. But I think I'm somewhere in the top 10 for sure, but probably not going to threaten for the podium this year or this month.
Yeah, I've been in the top 5 for the most of the month, and I just don't have the drive to go out for walks. That's I've done it a few times, but I'm trying to taper and be good for this race this coming weekend on March 28th. I figured if I'm behind on any steps, that's my chance to go out there and make them up. So we'll see how it goes this weekend coming up, and where I end up being. But There's some people in there throwing down some steps, that's for sure.
Yeah, I imagine you and Samir are gonna climb your way up the leaderboard here at the end of the month,
Yeah,
and,
he's probably still second, and I think Katia is still just walking and running and hiking and just trying to take a win. I think she's trying to get me back for the January challenge when we came back and beat her on the last day. Yeah, she's got 488,000 steps so far. Samir is about 15,000 behind her. And then I just hit 400,000 today. So I'm in fourth, you're in seventh. So
okay, yeah.
we'll have to log some more miles or more steps this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna surprise anybody, though, here at the end of the month after what you did in January, so
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, hey, I'm pretty excited for this episode once we get into our main topic. And our main topic is Chris is gonna go run next week, right? 1 week away, Chris? April
it's
10th?
it's A April 11th is the day, so by the time this gets released, it'll be about a week
Okay.
before,
So
but yeah.
April 11th, Chris is gonna go run a race. He's going to do an adventure, something crazy. I cannot wait to talk about what I've seen from the race. But Chris, I'm going to let you introduce the race to us, which one you're doing, and maybe where it is. And then I got some questions for you about the race. So go ahead and tell us what you're doing and where it is.
Yeah, so I'm signed up for the Gorges Waterfall 100K. It runs through the Columbia River Gorge in Oregon, just outside of Portland, and I'm really excited for this. This is a big step for me on my ultra journey, traveling that far. It's an out and back course with 11,000 feet of vertical gain, which for us, towpath runners, that's a lot.
I was gonna say I sent you that text message the other day, and I saw the elevation gain, and I said that's just a few more feet than the towpath. So, yeah, that's a lot. 11,000 feet in 60 miles. That's a pretty good amount of gain.
Yeah, it'll be there'll be some power hiking for sure. The course itself, though, is primarily semi-technical, they describe it, single track. So it'll be a little rocky, but probably nowhere near as bad as what we're used to on the AT. There are some paved bike paths for a few miles here and there, and in one section you run on the road shoulder when you're going between trails. But for the most part, most of the miles are going to be on single track, through the woods, up and down the mountain. But what makes this race really unique is the waterfalls that are along the river that you get to see as part of the course. Looking at the map, I think there's no less than 13 waterfalls of like over 100 feet each that you run by, behind, or over. And so I'm really excited for that. It's funny. Before I signed up for this race, Megan was on Instagram, and of course, she's got the vacation feeds in her algorithm, right? And so one day she sends me this reel she saw of this hike you can do where it's along the Columbia River and it goes by all these waterfalls. And she's like, I would love to go out here and vacation out here sometime. And so when it came time to sign up for the race and I put two and two together that it was the same reel and this, and it was over spring break, I was like, hey, what do you think about going out and doing this hike over spring break? And she's like, that sounds cool. Wait, what race is there?
So you tried to trick her, but it didn't really work.
Didn't really work. She's too smart for me.
Yeah.
So the race itself, though, over those 60 miles, there are 8 different aid stations. I think the most you go between aid stations is a little over 10 miles, so that's not too bad. It has a generous 17-hour cutoff. I'm hoping I won't need that, but it's there in case I do. It's a 5 a.m. start, so we will be starting in the dark, so guaranteed to have, a little over an hour at least of dark time running. And the goal for me will be to be back and to the finish before it gets dark in the evening, but I'll have my headlamp with me just in case.
Now, I saw that there are, I think, 3 different spots that you can have a drop bag. Are you planning on doing drop bags?
I'm going to have drop bags ready for each of those locations. And then Megan and a couple of our friends that are going to travel with us are going to be there to provide crew at the aid stations that allow crew. Not all of the aid stations are set up for crew to be able to participate, but I think the first time I'll see them is probably at about the 50K mark. So I'll probably be pretty excited to see them at that point.
Yeah, I bet that'll be you said the 50K mark?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's right around 33 miles is where the first aid station is that crew can
okay.
participate.
And then is there a drop bag before that?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't remember. I gotta
Okay.
look that up. That's
So
that's that's part of my planning I still have to do.
so you said it was a out and back, so I'm wondering now if the 3 drop bag sections, if, like, the first one is also the 3rd one, if that makes sense.
Well, what I should have said is it's an out and back and then an out and back. So you run one direction, turn around, come back through the starting area, and then go up the river the other direction, turn around, and come
Oh,
back. So
okay.
I'm sure it'll be at the two ends, and then I'm not sure where the other one is in the middle.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I guess you kind of answered my question of why would you travel all the way to Oregon to do this race? But part of it I take was to try to trick Megan into a vacation, quote unquote, right? And then yeah, so I'll let you expand on that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, so I really thought about this, because I figured this question would come up. The first reason that actually got me looking for this race was just out of spite. As you know, I qualified for Boston last year, but did not make the buffer. And so having FOMO of, lots of friends going to Boston and being able to have that experience, I wanted something in April that I could be working for. And I think we've talked on the pod before that one of my bucket races is to eventually get to Western States. And so I got the bright idea that I would look for a Western States qualifier in April timeframe. And this was one of the three or four that came up. And what put it over the top was it's only, quote unquote, only 100K instead of a 100 miler. So that's a nice kind of stepping stone for me to work my way up to the big distance. It coincided with Megan's spring break, so there was no worry about her having to take off from work. And when I looked at the course and paired it up with that video, I mean, there was just no way I wasn't going to try to take advantage of that. Like, it's just such an amazing looking course. I'm really excited to get out there and experience it.
Is the video that you saw, is it the one on YouTube? I looked it up and I saw one on YouTube that was called A Brutal and Beautiful Race in the Pacific Northwest. Is that the one you saw too?
So that's definitely one of them. I've probably watched 5 hours worth of race coverage from the last 2 years of the course, and the videos are all pretty much the same. They hit the iconic waterfalls. You see some of the same aid stations, but it looks like a great course. It's gonna be wet. It's gonna be a little bit chilly, with all that water and along the river. It's definitely gonna be damp, but I'm excited. As you know, I'm not a peak of the summer runner. I don't do well in the heat trying to stay hydrated. So being in early spring, I think this gives me a good shot of being able to get through that distance without struggling too much.
Hey, well, let's say that you go to Oregon and you have a great day and you feel great. You come back with a Western States qualifier ticket. And you know what is on April 28th, right? Another Western States qualified lottery, 100 miler, right? Is there any thought about continuing and just bouncing right up to the 100 miler?
No, there sure isn't. My understanding is you can only use one race each year for the Western States Lottery. So doing a second qualifier wouldn't give me any advantage in the lottery. So I'll take my one ticket and put myself in, and then we'll worry about what year two Western States qualifier I try for after that. Maybe
I
maybe in 27.
I respect that. Yeah, why get 2 tickets if you could only use 1, right?
That's right.
Well, so how's training been going? Right? Obviously, like you said, this is a much more elevation than what we normally get, even if we run on like Sawmill Road and through the battlefield, you got to put a lot more effort into finding hills and trails than what we're used to. So how's training been going for you?
It's been good. The timing of that January Outrun Us challenge couldn't have been better because that just gave me a great month of base work. As you know, I talked about previously that, I recorded my first 100-mile week in that month. It was my highest month total ever that I've done, 384 miles in January. So that gave me a really good start on getting the base foundation there. Carried that through in February and was, had a really good month there, almost 300 miles. And then finally the weather broke and we got rid of all the snow. And so in March, I've been focusing on trying to get up on the mountain and get some trail time and work on some getting some elevation in short distances. So yesterday I ran 8 miles and got a little over 1,000 feet of vert. So that was good. And just took it real easy, just enough so that I could keep my running going without having to take walk breaks, keep the heart rate down, those types of things. The things I'll hopefully be doing on April 11th so that I don't go out too hard and then crash and burn at the end.
Yeah, in comparison, sometimes I get 1,000 feet of gain over 80 miles in a week, right? So for you to get it all in 8 miles, I mean that's pretty good. What did you do Saturday? Tell us about your 20-mile run on Saturday.
Yeah, so this last Saturday, I wanted to get one more long run in and I wanted to do it on the trail. And being real close to Harper's Ferry, it's pretty convenient to get down there and run some of those trails off of the AT and then through the park. And there's an FKT course down there that's called the Maryland West Virginia Triple Crown. And that includes running up Weaverton Cliffs, Maryland Heights, and Loudon Heights. So one is on the AT, the other two are on side trails off of the AT, and they're all connected by either the C&O Canal or the flatter sections of the AT through Harper's Ferry. So that is 20 miles in total. And gosh, what was it? 6,000 feet of vert, I think,
Yeah, I
something
think
like that.
yeah.
Or maybe, no, sorry, it was 4,000 feet. So it ended up being like a third of the distance and a third of the vert. So it should be a pretty good simulation for Gorge's Waterfall 100K. And it ended up being a really good day. I parked at Weaverton and started by going right up the cliffs there. And for those of us that have done JFK and come down Weaverton Cliffs, right? Most of the time, anybody says something about going up Weaverton Cliffs, it's just like, are you nuts? And that's how I chose to start. And I will tell you that on fresh legs, jumping out of the car and immediately hitting the hill on the trail, it wasn't so bad. I was up into the overlook and back down in under 30 minutes, which I was really happy with, and down to the canal and on my way up the towpath to Maryland Heights in no time. Maryland Heights, once you get past Harper's Ferry, is another pretty good climb up to the top and then has an amazing overlook that lets you look down on the confluence of the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers right there at Harper's Ferry. So you can see the whole point and the whole town. That was really nice. Turned around and then come back and run through Harper's Ferry, past Jefferson Rocks and across the river and up to Loudon Heights. Now, I did not realize how long the Loudon Heights trail actually was from when you cross the river to you actually get to the end of it. So when I came down off Maryland Heights, I thought, man, this is great. I am flying, making great time. Didn't realize I wasn't even halfway there yet. But I did a pretty good job of staying hydrated and fueling throughout most of the run. I had chosen to take four 500 milliliter bottles with me, two in the front of my vest and two I threw in the back of the pack. And as I came down off of Loudon Heights at the end, and I really only had about 3 miles to go on the towpath, that was when I finished my first two bottles. And I thought, I'm doing fine. I don't need to dig out these other bottles. I'll just run through these last 3 miles and I'll be done in 25 minutes and then I'll drink them on the way home. That plan was working great until I got to mile 19 and a half. And at 19 and a half, I stepped over this root. And as soon as my foot hit the ground, it immediately just seized up with a cramp from my thigh all the way down to my ankle. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So I ended up walking almost the entire last half mile while I was popping salt pills and trying to chug down those last two bottles as quick as I could. But it ended up only costing me about 5 minutes overall in my time. And I still was real happy. I finished the 20 miles in 4 hours and 20-ish minutes. So I was pretty happy with a good day. And it was a good lesson to learn on Saturday and not when I'm in Oregon.
Right. So, hey, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about that last like half mile. So, obviously, in Oregon, you want to kind of stay ahead, right? And that's kind of been drilling that into my own brain here the last couple of weeks, right? Try to stay ahead of nutrition and fueling. So, do you have a nutrition plan yet for Oregon? Have you got that far, or what's your plan with that?
So the feed loves me right now. I have bought so many gels to take with me. I bought the individual packets of Tailwind so I can just pour one in the bottle and then add water to it, as we go along. They're the the fuel that they're going to use on the course is something called Never Second, which I've never tried before and haven't seen it around. It seems to get good reviews, but it's always a little bit sketchy to try something new on race day. So as much as I can, I'm going to stick with Tailwind and the gels I know, but I assume I'll supplement on the course with what they have. But yeah, I'm going to carry the bottles with me, have my crew swap bottles out for me when I meet up with them and top things off at aid stations along the way. I haven't really calculated the total number of gels I need to carry with me yet. I'm thinking one every 30 minutes is going to be about right. But, obviously I want to have a few in reserve in case things start to go south and need to top off quicker.
Any plans for real food along the way, or is that just gonna be like what looks good at the aid station?
Most of it is going to be what looks good at the aid station. I'll probably take a couple of Uncrustables and, maybe some like granola bars or something with me just to have something a little bit different along the way. But I'm hoping to use mostly gels and then whatever's at the aid stations.
Okay. And what is your well, here, I'm looking at this right now for cutoff times on the course. Are you aware of the cutoff times, or have you just looked at, okay, I need to finish in under 17 hours, and that's your main goal? Like you're not thinking about like chasing cutoffs, right?
I am hoping I don't have to worry about chasing cutoffs. I've looked at them. I haven't memorized them or committed to memory because my thought was when I looked at them, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Before the race starts though, I'll make sure I know what I've got to get just in case there are problems, right? You've
So
always got to be able to problem solve on something like this.
yeah, so the race starts at 5 a.m. You have 7 hours and 15 minutes to get to mile 25.8. So 7 hours and
Okay.
15 minutes to do the first marathon, and then 9 hours and 15 minutes to go 33 miles. So you're right. Like if all goes well, right? It looks like there's a total of one, two, three, four, five, six. You have to be done by 10 p.m. at the end. So yeah, I mean, if all goes well, hopefully you're not looking at chasing the cutoffs or worried about that, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. I feel pretty confident going into it, but like you said, I'll make sure I know what I've got just in case I really have to bear down at some point. I don't want to miss a cutoff by a few minutes if I've had a tough section.
Right. And I'm looking here at the elevation chart, and I can say without hesitation that it looks like your life is going to suck at mile 16 and a half.
Indeed,
Yeah, that I well, you have to put a picture of this chart in the show notes. That
okay.
it goes from 200 feet to 1600 feet. And I've never seen a straight line like that in my life, Chris. What in the hell are you thinking? That is not
It
the
that is
path.
that is why there's a 7-hour cutoff on that first marathon because of that section right there.
I think you could get to the top of that hill and then top of the hill. I'm sorry, that's a mountain. You could get to the top of that mountain and probably just roll down the other side. It's just as steep going down that thing.
And that running, walking down something that steep is almost as hard as going up, right? Because it's just going to
Yes,
trash my
yeah,
quads.
yeah, you wanna go slow on that as well, yep, so, yeah, that is, if they could take that little hill out, we'd be talking, but that's gonna be a monster. I cannot wait to see your Strava on that. Remember how Sarah made fun of you for your Strava at Fire on the Mountain? Man,
I do remember that, yeah.
I can
She's gonna have a good time with this one.
that looks awesome. Hey, are you gonna download the GPX file to your watch? Does your watch do that?
It does, I've never tried that before, but I probably should.
Just in
Have you done it
case?
before?
No, that's way too technology for me. I just figured I'd follow the course markings and follow the trail, right?
Yeah, the
Um,
videos I've watched, it sounds like it's a pretty well marked course, so I'm not too worried about it.
yeah,
I'll also be solidly in the mid to back of the pack, so I'm hoping there'll be plenty of people around.
yeah. Hey, Chris, my next question is, have you seen the size of this hill at mile 16 and a half? I mean, what? I'm just kidding.
Just a mild 1,400 feet of gain in 3 or 4 miles.
Yeah, that looks fun for sure. So uh, I'm looking at, hold on, let me look at a couple more things. Okay, so I think there used to be pacers, but there's no pacers allowed anymore. So you're obviously going to go on your own, right? You'll have your crew at some different spots, but nobody can go with you. Hopefully, if you're having a rough go at it, you can link up with another racer and kind of talk your way through it and get through it that way.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think even last year they still allowed pacers, so I'm not sure if the park cut down on the number of people on the trail or how that came to be, but there's definitely no pacers this year.
Okay. Hey, do you have a goal time that you would like to share? Have you done the math on any of this? And like, I know you want to break 17, obviously, because you want to finish, but do you have a goal time for the race?
So, the one thing about 100K is it's pretty close to 60 miles, right? So you can do some back of the envelope calculations that if you run a 12-minute mile, that's going to be roughly 12 hours. Throw in a couple extra miles, so it'll be closer to 12 and a half. But I'm shooting, I think if I have a great day, I'll be around 12 hours. I think if I have a good day, I'll be at 14. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm back before that 17 hours and I can put my name in the lottery next winter, I'll be happy.
Right. So anything under 17 hours is a success, right?
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
The main goal of this, I'm not going in to win, I'm not gonna be in the prize money, so I need to come away with my lottery entry, but of course, I want to run well and push myself to a safe limit, and I think in that 12 to 14-hour range is reasonable if that hill at mile 16 doesn't doesn't put me on a death march for the rest of the day.
Well, take your time going up that thing, take your time going down it. It's still so early in the race that you can come back, but you cannot come back with it if your legs are just toasted from there. So I would enjoy the views on that climb and descent and then race. I think in that video, the guy uh I think he got to about mile 30 or 35 and then said, okay, now it's time to race. Or, I think he definitely negative split. So, obviously with the elevation gain in the first half, it's probably easier to do that. But I would recommend doing about the same type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I don't wanna suffer more than normal in the second half. I mean, nobody runs 100K and doesn't suffer a little bit, right? So, I don't wanna go out and then end up putting myself in where I've gotta walk most of the last half of the race. That's what I'll do if that's what it takes to get to 17 hours, but I'd like to be able to run a good portion of it and power hike only when necessary.
Is this going to be a distance PR?
Yes. My previous distance PR is 55 miles. So, just over that, about 7 miles over that.
Was that 55 at more miles, last one standing?
It was, yeah, I
Yeah.
finished the official loop for 54 and then started one more and started it with the intent of only doing a victory lap 1 mile.
Yeah, at that race, you can do that little 1 mile in the woods, and then it conveniently takes you right past the camp again.
Yep.
So that's where a lot of people decide to come back when they're done running that race.
When you know
Well,
you're not gonna make it back in under an hour, it's a convenient place to bail out.
yes. So phone, camera, are you bringing anything with you along the journey to share with friends, family, or are you just going and your eyes only?
No, absolutely. I will have my phone with me. I will be snapping pictures along the way. What I'm really hoping is because we're going out a week early to make it a whole week of vacation, to be able to get out and see some of those waterfalls before the race. A lot of them are convenient short hikes. And so snap some of those pictures ahead of time and not have to spend too much time during the race capturing those iconic waterfalls. But it would be a shame to come back and not have any pictures of those. So
Yeah. What shoes do you plan on wearing? Do you have those picked out yet?
I do. I have my Saucony Endorphin Trail shoes that I wore in JFK and that have been my staple. I'm on my second pair of those, and they seem to do really well for me. Good combination of stability and traction, and I'm hoping they'll handle the wet rocks okay, but we'll see.
Yeah, I know. Again, I'm only speaking from what I watched in the video. The trails did look pretty runnable. There were some spots that there were a couple hairpin turns where you did not want to step a little bit too much to the right and go down the hill, the mountain, right? But for the most part, the rocks that I saw were wet, like they were right where you're crossing like the waterfalls and stuff. But it didn't look too bad from the video that I saw.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's indicative of what the rest of the course is like, and not that they only filmed in the places where it was easy to film and couldn't do that in the other places because the course was too hard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so between now and April 11th, what does your training schedule look like?
I'm gonna run one more medium-ish run between now and this weekend, and then this weekend, obviously, I'll be with you at the Capitol backyard. So that'll be a little bit of a down weekend for me. Come back that first week in April and hit some mid mileage days and maybe get a long run in before we fly out to Portland. But then once I get to Portland, it'll be 2-3 miles a day. Just get the legs as rested and fresh as I can, and save it all for Saturday.
This is gonna be a really ignorant geological I don't even know if that's the word. Geography?
Geographic,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Is there altitude? Are we where
So
okay, because I don't know. I've never been to Oregon, so,
that
uh
that is a great question, and it was one of the factors that I took into account when I picked this race, because it's mostly along the river, with the exception of where you run up and over some of the waterfalls or to get to some of the waterfalls. It's at sea level or a little bit above, and it's not like running in a lot of places out west where you're starting at 7 or 8,000 feet and have to adjust to the altitude. For those of us out here on the East Coast, right, or even in the panhandle of West Virginia, I think we're sitting at like 800 feet. So jumping up to 7,000 would be rough. So that was one thing that also factored into me picking this race over something like Hard Rock.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I didn't even think about that until about 5 minutes ago. That's probably a good choice because I mean, I guess you are going out a week early, right? And that's what I think they
Yeah.
generally say to go out like 2 weeks early or go out the night before so your body can't figure it out. I don't know. But yeah, that's good if there's not much altitude. Uh, you don't have to worry about that. Hey, I looked on Ultra Sign Up and Uh, I'm pretty sure you know that Adam Peterman won the JFK 50 before, and he currently holds the course record for Gorge Waterfalls. He set it last year, 2025, and it looks like he is the only person to ever go under 8 hours. He's gone
Yep.
7 hours, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds. So I know you said you just want to break 17. So are we saying the course record's safe? Like you're not going for that, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. That's faster than my JFK time. So I with nowhere close to that much elevation and an extra 10 miles.
You
So
you
I
know,
think it'll be okay.
looking at this list, Adam Peterman is first and he's won JFK. Jim Walmsley is fifth overall and he's won JFK. And then Matthew Seidel is 10th and he's been third or fourth at JFK a couple times. On the women's side, Shay Aquilano has won JFK. Jade has won JFK. those are the top 2. Hannah Allgood, I know just ran JFK this past year. I don't remember, I think she was in the top 5, so you'll be in some great company, like, when you're on the top 10, we can say, "Chris ran JFK and was in, like" what place did you get, 110th?
I yeah, like 110th last year,
See?
so yeah, there is no doubt that there are some elite folks that are gonna be there, and I'm looking forward to being able to toe the line with them. I probably won't see them much after that, except when they're coming back on some of those out and backs, but yeah, it's exciting, like, and I'm okay with being in this race, being a mid to back of the packer. I think if my 14-hour time that I'm shooting for holds up, that's gonna put me 2/3 of the way through the field, so that's okay.
Yeah.
This is more about the experience this time. Maybe I'm channeling my inner Tay-Rock here, but,
Chris, I have maybe one more question for you. So
okay.
it looks like there's a 30K that starts on Friday, uh, and a 50K on Sunday. I'm assuming that like you won't see any of those racers, right? All these races are separate from each other.
Yeah, the 30K will be everybody will be done with that before the 100K starts on Saturday, and then we'll all be done because we have to be done by 10 o'clock. So we
Oh,
won't
okay.
be on the course at all for the 50K folks the next day.
So you chose the 100K, the furthest distance of the three, and that was based on you wanted the golden or the Western States qualifier, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Now,
The other two distances don't reach the standard, so that's why I chose the 100K.
was there ever any thought of doing 1, 2, or all 3 of these races?
No. Nope.
I'm just kidding with you.
I am sufficiently scared of the 100K to be honest, and I've got confidence that I can do it, but I know it is not a guaranteed, and there's no way I'd put those kind of miles on my legs the day before.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, it looks oh, that's the 50K. Okay. I'm looking now. There have been some pretty big names that have run out here, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, it'll be a great day of racing, I'm sure. Hopefully the weather is good for you and hopefully everything comes together for you and you have a great day and a great race.
Yeah, and like you said on the last pod, I look forward to coming back the week after and talking about it and just saying how either right or wrong all of my plans were. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, a little preview into maybe the next episode as this comes out. We've already found out that I was pretty wrong about like 3 big things at Capitol that I had planned on. So the next episode should be pretty fun depending on how this coming weekend on March 28th goes. But we already know some things that I was pretty wrong about.
Yeah, yeah, but, in the grand scheme of things, those are pretty minor. Let's hope that the big
Yeah.
ones hold true.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, Chris, this has been a lot of fun. We as an audience cannot wait to see how you do at the Gorge Waterfalls 100K. Oh, I guess I should ask this. Is there a way to track you?
I don't believe there's live tracking, but Megan will be able to track my phone, so I'm hoping maybe she'll put out some updates along the way and let folks know how it's going.
Hey, you could stop like every 10 miles and upload it to Strava. We could figure it out that way.
Oh, I could do that, yeah.
No, don't do that.
My luck, I'd forget to restart my watch.
Yeah, and then you would have no idea where you were.
So,
No, all right. This has been a lot of fun. Again, we cannot wait to see how you do. And I know you're going to go out there and destroy the 17-hour cutoff and do what you can do that day. So I'm rooting for you all the way from West Virginia, but it'll be fun.
all right, man, thanks, I appreciate it. This has been fun.
Good, good. All right. See you, Chris. Oh, wait. What are you drinking, bro?
Oh, I've got the crisp West Virginia lager from New
Oh,
Trail Brewing.
we talked about that the other day. Guess what
Yeah,
I'm drinking?
water.
I haven't drank a beer since Saturday, like 10 days ago. That's crazy. I'm drinking beet juice.
Ooh,
If I don't do well at Capitol, we have a problem.
yeah.
Beet juice is horrible. It tastes like dirt, dirty water.
Yeah, well, the juice I think is better than the extract powder that people take.
Oh, actually,
Um,
what's this is the powder. I mixed it with water.
oh, be careful. I had a friend who overdid it on that, and he almost didn't make it back from a run one time.
Oh, this is the first time I've had it. Well, like in a couple months, so I
Okay.
think I think it'll be okay.
All right, good.
Katie made it for me, so I think we're good.
It's probably good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you, Chris.
All right, man. Thanks.
That's all for today's episode of Tales on the Towpath. Thanks for joining us on another run down memory lane and along the C&O. If you've enjoyed the show, be sure to follow, share it with a friend, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep your pace steady and your stories flowing.